I can see things down the road quite straightforward. I just have to pick a little piece of it and then just throw it down the road. Sometimes there's a change and you start to see an overwhelming pattern of, oh, that Andy Burnham clean air charge, of all things, has had this effect on me. So whenever I, basically it's had me in the dumps for a couple of weeks actually. I'm like, this is just overwhelming. It's like I can from anything that I want to look at, anything that I want to think about, simulate down the road, think about. It's just car crashes. It's just, and it's like on every street in the northwest of England, someone's life is just fucked instantly, and it's like, oh, it's like on the same day, a collective groan of thousands and thousands of people when they get to be charged for driving their own vehicles, and are likely not the kind of people who can handle an extra 70 quid a week bill. It's like there's too many people out there whose starting life is the fact that they own a van, that they can, the business is the van. Without it, they are it's like a doctor without drugs and tools and stethoscopes and hospitals. It's like, what fucking use is he? Without his mode of transport or habit as to where there's extra pressure of, I don't work every day, but this gets charged every day. And then a system as to where if you find yourself in a position where you don't pay, the usual council process of fines, court action, bailiffs, county court judgments, more bailiffs, more bailiffs, more bailiffs. They're getting paid because you can't stop them. Can't fight them. You've been found guilty when they snap a picture of you doing whatever you were doing. You entered the clean air zone. It's like, it's my fucking neighbourhood. Right. The thing is with it, there's many ways to hatch it. You can go on. You can just think of any example you want of any kind of like proper business, and they're going to get fucked by it. It's like, here you go, you get dragged in. What about vehicles like tipper trucks, right? Where the fittings on the vehicle are worth more than the vehicle. Where you'd put a new engine in it before you'd scrap it because of how much its fittings are worth. But it's built on a chassis of a commercial vehicle. Oh, it's not up to code. We're going to now charge you 60 quid a day to run this piece of plant. It's like you'd be surprised how many businesses up and down the country couldn't stand that. Like, how many vehicles have we got affected by this? 15. Oh, excuse me, what? Puts pressure on wages and jobs big time. Puts pressure on every other element of the business. Where's the money going to come from? For everyone who's affected. And then it's a matter of, since when is building fleets of electric vehicles from scratch a better idea than just getting a decent natural life out of a vehicle that complies with all the codes, passes an MOT, passes safety inspection, is a perfectly valuable vehicle in anywhere but fucking Greater Manchester. As to where the knock-on effect in the value of vehicles becoming a weird disparity between this place and the other place leads to a fucking situation as to where trading vehicles across county lines then become a weird sort of pseudo market as to where there'd be those actually with their eyes on red alert in places that aren't affected by such ridiculous legislation that will be thinking, hey, we can get some bargains here. These people are going to be on their uppers. We're going to find some desperate selling here. WeBuyAnyvan.com. It's like not a single thought's been thought. It's like, well, it's for the kids, for the environment. Asthma. So it's just fuck everyone to save us all from the pollution. When the environment becomes more valuable than the people, and we're interested in protecting the lives of imagined future people, someone's lost touch with reality, and someone's lost touch with what they're trying to achieve, or what they're trying to achieve is pie in the sky and can never be attained. Just saying. I have to now create a new machine or simulation in my imagination. And that be the man or woman who thinks that the CAS scheme is a good idea for the benefit of all. And the best I can come up with so far is a very narcissistic cyclist. It's the only profile I can put to the person. If they have changed the world to better suit themselves, it's a narcissistic cyclist wanting to get revenge on the motorist. So all it can come across as, it's like to me a quite pure hatred that's like would feel to someone like a justified mode of revenge. That's all I can put it down to, because of the ways that everywhere I look to see the world move forward, where you can see things coming. It's like, you know, everyone can. You, depending on what you follow or you sort of specialise in or what you follow, you can see things coming, can't you? It's part of the human experience. Well, in my fields of areas, I can see things coming. And with this new scheme, I can see things coming from everywhere. And it's like, oh no. So all of a sudden, the sort of future to me as an imaginary place has become one of not for me to be afraid of, but one of intense fear for everybody right now. And then in the end, an explosion that could... Basically, it's like, okay, Andy Burnham, right, I know there's an advertisement on the council website to become your chauffeur. And I looked at it, I thought, shall I apply for that? I'm like, there's no fucking way he's going to give you a job, no matter how experienced you are at driving. No matter how careful you are when you have passengers in a vehicle with you. You don't give a fuck. It's like, but you know, to sit there to one day have the chance to be brave enough to risk the sack from your fucking lousy job. Just to ask that Andy Burnham a question or two as to your idea. I give him a bit of free advice, and you know what? I'll give him the free advice without having to apply for the job if my video gets as far as Andy Burnham's ears. And that be, right, you are indiscriminately could be seen to attack some dangerous people here with your scheme. And not all villains are in jail. And you're going to hit the good and the bad alike with the attacks. And some of the people that you agitate are dangerous people, and you just pretend that there's no such thing as dangerous people. So when they start to act the goat, you'd be astonished by what they're capable of. You've not taken into account, right, how many villains and pieces of work you've now agitated, called to arms. Where someone as good as like myself, it's like, well, if push comes to shove, I'm not going to destroy the government's property. Push comes to shove, I'm not going to assault agents of the council or the government. But I can't say that for everyone. And I know I can't. If I was to put myself on the hook now for everyone who takes a swing at a fucking traffic warden, however the enforcement comes along, well, you know, lock me up fucking now for it, because you've added another level of fucking idiotic annoyance to most people. Because I tell you something, you know, if what you said about COVID was true, at any stage of the game, we've all been exposed to it and it didn't fucking kill us. Like, we ain't the weak creatures who die from it. Those who are kicking around, there ain't no one in this country who haven't been exposed to that deadly virus on more than one occasion. Nobody. Yet here we are, and look at all the shit you did. Completely overreacted to a situation. And there are those of us in the world who recognise that's what you'd done from the start. And you know, funnily enough, it broke itself down along very similar lines that found themselves in conflict about everything else before. It's like, but battle lines were crossed, obviously, until there was a change of presidency. Oh, then battle lines were crossed and it become the vaccine gang. I have more in my state of health, which is not good. In my state of health, I am not fit. In my state of health, I'm more concerned that the vaccine will do something than COVID will. Miles more. I've had vaccinations before. Things haven't turned out so well. I'm weary of vaccines making me as sick as I've ever been. But I'm not so worried about the COVID, which I certainly suffered. I had that. Not nice for a couple of days, but not enough to bring a nation to its fucking knees. That asymptomatic spread. You know what? If you can prove that exists, right? I'll prove space monkeys. Whatever you want. You've tapped into the boogeyman, and that was evil. Just the pure vehicle of invisible fear and threat. And the invisible fear and threat you brought had fucking political biases in your favour. Turned a blind eye to certain activities. Became a political virus, which is what it was to start with. Just become a weapon, another tool on the belt. Oh, now we've got an invisible killer to hit them with. Same people who give us all the crap got new crap. It was like a reloading of the gun. Oh, look at this new ammunition we've got. Oh, the COVID. That March, when they decided it were a thing, there were all kinds of people who should have known better who fucking fell into it, saying this is going to be serious, it's going to be heavy, this man. It's like we didn't resist it strongly enough when it first happened, because there were so many fucking people who you'd expect to be half smart as to say, they've pulled this before, this not so long ago. It's like the amount of money that Baxter Pharmaceutical made out of that swine flu panic, where they fucking got all the governments in the world to, like, the rich ones to buy a vaccine for every fucking person, and it'd be a matter of, well, in the end, everybody were exposed to it and it was alright, no big deal, it just faded away. That was the same fuss as this. And it's like that company you don't hear them no more. It's like, where did they go? It's like, well, they kind of were reabsorbed into the industry. What do you mean? Well, they just broke the company up and sold it off, and it was picked up by all kinds of different people. After they pulled that one, they just got rid of the name of the company. No one lost the job. No factories were shut down. No research was halted. It just carried on. But the umbrella company disappeared. Having made an absolute super killing on vaccines that were never needed, never used. It's like, do you guys not remember that? As to where there's reasons to be highly skeptical. And it's like the message being sent was that, oh, those who catch it might die. I mean, come on, Boris Johnson catches the COVID, intensive care, out of danger. Really? I called it a celebrity sniffle, right? And even back then, it's like Facebook were like, you can't call it that. Even now, I was getting flagged up, like missing from, oh, what? Even back then, celebrity sniffle. It's like, this doesn't seem so serious unless fucking Tom Hanks catches it. And then we're hearing that people in hospital are dying of it. And it's a matter of, well, tell you what, I've known plenty of people who died in hospital from all kinds of things. Usually they'll call it something different, or they won't call it COVID, they call it pneumonia. Same thing. You died of pneumonia. What's pneumonia? Cold. The word game from the start, coronavirus, that's cold. These people don't understand what a cold is. We can frighten them with all these pictures of this bacteria all zoomed in. And it's like, doesn't like ultraviolet light just completely kill all fucking viruses? And shut up. Like, is this disease airborne? No. Alright, okay. So it's like contact, okay. But you don't need to have symptoms to spread. Oh, okay. So you don't really know. You can pretend you caught it off anyone. Your testing, or your ability to test for it, just happened like magic. And you've got a vaccine for something that you're saying super serious and fucking totally disgusting and a killer within a fucking year. And it's like, I don't believe you. What? Well, yeah, your gene therapy is it's just a thing to do to make money. It's a money spinner. It's a cracking scam, and you're really, really well positioned for it. It's like they waited until those who were prepared or whose business could handle it to be ready for the next time it came along. And when they had the old internet, they've made it so, the internet had made it so, and I'll tell you something, right? Guys like me who's isolated, my life's not so different when the place is locked down. Because I don't get that many visitors and, don't get out much. So it's similar for me. But the thing that makes it bearable is the internet. Makes it bearable. I don't find my sort of isolated existence to be that much of a problem, because in a very real regard, I am everywhere, or everywhere I might want to be, in my imagination, with the tools provided by this incredible invention of the internet. So it's a matter of, well, I've got the internet, so I don't feel as though I'm on my own. I can always find something that'll keep me engaged. Always. So they create a situation as to where it's the best it's ever been for being in that kind of situation now. If we'd have been locked down like that in the 1980s, it'd have been fucking bloody. It'd have been super bloody. So that's why it weren't tried then. When the swine flu came around, if they'd tried that then, it'd have been bloody too. But now you've got your Netflix, now you've got your Amazon Prime, now you've got your YouTube, now you've got all these things that you can go and explore. People might be like, actually, a couple of weeks off work for now. Play along with it. It's like they're not for taking special powers back. They're not for even having a real fair old conversation about, hey, hang on, how did we get ourselves in this shit? And you know something? I think your testing's bullshit. What? Oh yes. I think your testing is bullshit and has been from the start. You can make it so whatever you like. Like, you are the fucking ref. Get fucked. It's like this is worse than VAR. It's a rigged game in your favour, this testing like. And it always was my thing, don't start testing. And then it was stop testing. You'll find that your numbers will disappear to fucking zero as soon as you stop testing for it. What? Yeah, and that'll be the end of it. Stop testing for it. Stop testing. End it. That's how you stop it. It's the way the Chinese stopped it when they decided to stop it. And then they'd seen in the West ridiculous things done and then saw it as encouragement as to, hey, you know what? We didn't properly exploit this when we had it. We fucked up and they kind of learned from us. And then they've started to now crack down on their populations. It's like they've tried to out-doom each other. The Welsh have become like, oh God, don't we regret ever... Whose idea was this Welsh fucking assembly? Because now you've got these doomers from nowhere. Doomer stranger fucking people who sit on fucking committees and in council meetings and turn up for dues and know people. Have friends, those kind of folk. You've got them frightened on their behalf and doing what they do, and they're pieces of shit. Fucking weak. So we've had the weakness of the will of the government projected upon us, and everyone's been given an excuse. That COVID has derailed my life. My life being what my, you can say, well, you don't have much going on. So yeah, but it was still my life. Derailed it. I didn't need this shit. I had a completely different approach to things. I was on my way out the door when the COVID thing happened. I was on my way out of the door. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, without killer disease at the moment now we're up against just gangster tactics, baby. I was going to go out and play. It's a different world now. That world's gone. That world in which I'd been working out to play, to contribute, right? Gone. Different world now. It's like time has accelerated. Absurdity has become a normal thing. The cleverness of the liar who gets away with it is doubling down. And then Andy Burnham comes along and slaps us with a fucking charge, as if it's like, we're the government and we know you won't do anything about it. Look at all the shit we've done here. Look at all the shit we did making you fucking stay in your house for the best part of a year. Northwest, they had us locked down. Messed a lot of people up. Changed a lot of people's fucking plans. Fucked a good number of people up. You've had it where people have had, like, turned to drink, bigger problems with fucking drugs, bigger crime problems now under this. It's been an absolute fucking a banquet for fucking super thieves and small thieves alike. The lockdown. There's going to be, loads of wonderful work created for all kinds of authorities to track down the billions in fraud that's taken place during the lockdown, which is just more work, unproductive work that someone will get paid to do, more government jobs. Oh, it's all to come. It's like the bag of shit to hold that is the repercussions of the fallout from the pandemic. Fuck knows what form that's going to take. At this moment in time, it says to me that the bosses, those are better than us, and know what's for our own good. Yeah. The bosses have decided that we'll swallow any kind of shit because look at all the shit we've swallowed. How about another spoonful? Because you didn't do fuck all last time, and what you did, we just got on with it. We didn't care. You could have burned the country to the fucking ground, and we just have carried on going. Okay, you've got it out of your system, and back to normal. Having been years of being governments that usually would let you do whatever you wanted when the violence broke out, when the riot broke out. Let the riot run wild. And then use all the CCTV footage to then pick people off one by one. You've been doing that for years. That's been your way of dealing with fucking social problems that boil up. You pick off those you catch who you select out of thousands who you make an example of, and you go and you pick them off one by one. You know, and this is, I'm not saying I'm against it, right? I'll make this observation. You know there's something fucky going on, right? When them Extinction Rebellion guys are able to go to court, right? And they're able to just look, experts at the UN have said if we don't get a lid on this climate change by 2030, it's like the end of the world. It's like there's fucking plenty of things that are going to fuck this place before that climate change does, mate. But no, their statements they read in about my planet, nobody can test them. No one's allowed to. You'd be called a climate change denier, wouldn't you? You'd be in bad company. So if you're like, do me a fucking favour. It's like, we're going to run out of phosphorus a long time before what? Long time before climate change fucks us. What? It's like we need bigger gear, we need to be strip mining more. We need to be putting the money in people's fucking pockets and spreading the wealth, not fucking convincing people the world's dying. It's the opposite of what we ought to be doing. Say something like that, gone fucking history. You can't talk like that, that's not allowed. So these people go into court and they make these statements about the world dying and shit, and my CO2 and my windmills and my solar and my veganism, right? They go in and they talk like that and it's accepted as evidence and just not refuted. And then they send off the stupid jury, all fucking full of all save the world, aren't we great people, we're saving the world, all fucking their own little activist, the little revolutionary that they carry around in them, and being so fucking stupid that they live in a world where that's a thing. And they go off and they have a conversation about maybe we should save the planet too, like they are. Aren't we cowards? They've gone out into the street to save the world that they love. What's the world going to be in 20 years when we're all underwater? We need to let these people go. So the fucking jury comes back and says, we're proud to say, on behalf of the people of Earth, go in peace. It's like when a fucking shell game like that's able to be played and you can pass that through the fucking courts. I'm like, you got a real problem here. No one's saying no to anyone who's talking absolute, like, end of doom twaddle. Because doom twaddle is powerful. It's about fear. And if you don't see that it's funny, there's no fucking hope for you. Like, I watched a video that Rob Ager made. Brilliant video, actually, about 12 delusions in the world. And he talks about transhumanism. And he just as he brings it up, he gives up this mirth. You can see him giggle because it's hilarious. It's like the people that'll do things, go out of the way, things that they'll do to stay alive are just wide open to just be ripped off. They're just wide open to be sold any old shit. It's like, oh yeah, it's a good one. And so as soon as he's saying transhumanism's a myth, and it's like, as soon as he says that, I'm there, I'm watching him, and I'm like, oh, fucking. So that's the guy again. It's like a big Kubrick fan, isn't he, Ager? So he learned the lesson about how funny nuclear weapons are from Stanley Kubrick, like I did. And once you've learned the hilarity of, like, fucking, yeah, go on, that laugh, overall just sort of hyper hilarious, this is possible world of, like, nuclear fucking doom. Once you get over the horror of that, it's hilarious. And you have to, because that's a conditioning it's a political conditioning you were given as a kid of my generation. And once you've recovered from that, the notion of climate change it really is not really a problem. It's like, oh, another one of them. Once you realise just how deeply you were affected by the delusion of my nuclear war, my peace, my Terminator, my Mad Max. Mad Max is just like what the roads are like here, but just in Australia. It's a less built-up place. Fewer police covering more distance without the internet. That's what that is. But this doom, it's like if you've been fed the doom sandwich and you still had it in you, and you haven't seen that it was a really funny game to play and something hilarious to think about. It's like you've got a dread of death that's being kicked into and just exploited. If you don't see the hilarity of, like, joining everybody who died before you, you've no sense of humour either. So it's like a sense of humour that can face the end of the world is is like let's call it a philosophical breakthrough that the times have created, so it's brand new. It's a weird way of marrying the notion of the fucking I don't know, the sky falling on your head, the gods being angry and sending a fucking flood or a wildfire or a fucking hurricane, striking someone down with lightning, starting a fire, all that shit. It's like it's all out of play again when the notion of the nuclear destruction had brought it into play, and it's like we have cycles when big changes happen as to the possible end of the world, right? We have cycles in how we shift in and out of superstition, which is what I'm not saying that climate change isn't real. I'm saying that its movement in its people is superstitious. It's like they're superstitious people. Like they like it or not, they fall into the band of practitioner of the dark arts as magicians, or being under the spell of one and copying his great ways. It's like that's the way I see it. You become superstitious, all of a sudden things that are not there become threats. It's like taps into paranoia, hypervigilance as to where you get people who are constantly looking out the window. What are they up to? If you scare someone enough, you'll be able. It's a proper reaction. It's like if you can make people start curtain twitching and there's no one fucking there and they're curtain twitching, you can make outside forces seem like threats. People live in fear like that. They are the easiest to control because you can frighten them with an imagined thing. You can say things that scare them. And then we come back to Andy Burnham. Do you know, someone came up with the best fucking nickname ever for that guy as to the game that's being played. They're not calling it that, but it's the game that's being played. Somebody called Andy Burnham. And I'm like, you've nailed it. That's what it is. It's like you are being fucking spun. And the guy's like, shield is the planet. He's going to hide behind the planet. He's going to hide behind environment. He's going to hide behind my kids. And it's like, you think you can get away with that? It's like, he thinks he can. I think he thinks he can just weather a storm with the tried and trusted Obama way of thinking of, well, what are these people going to do about it? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Where's your army? You're not going to do anything, are you? You're not going to do nothing. You can't do anything. That's what's coming. What are you going to do about it? And just rub your fucking face in it. It's like, we've made you eat shit for fucking years now, and we're going to make you eat some more shit. And you didn't do anything about it before, so we don't think you're going to do anything about it now. In fact, we think your ability to stop us is even more diminished because we've been gaslighting you for 2 years and trying to destabilise your mental health. So it's like, if you get real angry about this, we can exploit that too. Your little group on the internet, it's like, all we got to go in there is muddy the water away from total abolition of the fucking zone. All we got to do is muddy the water, and we can stop any kind of meaningful resistance coming together. And it's like the group that's on Facebook at 56 or 57,000 people who are all telling tales of this is going to ruin my life and shit. Fuck it up for my neighbours, fuck it up for my friends, fuck it up for my brothers and sisters. There's a flood of that, and then those who founded the group, that's just some anorak thing on fucking Facebook that's become the thing. Everyone's gone straight to this one group. The admins of the group have now taken fucking ownership of the cause. And it's like, who are the admins? Well, we're concerned members of the public. So it's a matter of, there's a very good chance the whole thing has been fucking co-opted to start with, and is a, whether they intend to back out or not is a, someone's exploiting the gaslighting effect. So it's like, I have to be a real dick and say, what else are they up to? Like, what? It's like, that's an incredible smokescreen you've put up. What else is going on, Andy? Behind this smokescreen, because no one's been charged no money yet, so there's time. Behind this smokescreen, what other fucking balls are in the air? What else have you got in mind? What's next, Andy? Who are you going to kill next? Who are you going to fuck over next? I get to thinking like that when I start to think about what's going on with that. And I have respect for other people. I understand human beings as pieces of work. And I don't think I'm the first person who'd be thinking, fuck, let's show them something new. Right? I don't think I'm the only person thinking that. I'm thinking that I'm one of the ones who not going to go and do it. Not going to go and fucking blow someone up. But I'm thinking, I can understand in people's minds, in some of them, as to this be the final fucking straw. It it'll work. It works something like this. Do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you how Manchester could fucking like fall into fucking chaos as to where the council just melts into fucking jelly and shit, and fucking the police come out all panicking. All right. I'll tell you. Someone set fire to one of the town halls and see what the people's reaction is. I'm telling you, you've made it. You've made what would be, and this is the thing. You know, the revolutionary act of terrorism, as they call it, right? In an ideal situation, it works, right? In an ideal situation, it works. And do you know what the ideal situation is? When somebody sets the fucking town hall on fire and everyone walks on and fucking laughs and cheers. And likely, also probably the only way of really getting away with it. Now it's a matter of, I see that the conditions for something like that to happen exist. And it's because for years, the people around here have been neglected and had the piss taken out of them by the fucking council. And it's like, you've had a set of people with a lot to hide who anyone who knew the secrets could push around for a long time. And it's like they handpicked the structures of these local parties, these guys with all this to hide. So it's like anyone who ever had anything on any of them. Bearing in mind, you've had loads of like sexual predators. It's a two-way street. So it's like you've imported that culture. So where it's like there are a bunch of fucking whores who run it. Like what? And they tend to say to people who they know who they can control. They say, you know, you'd be really good in politics. You should speak out. When they know they can control someone, they groom them and bring them into the political circle, and then it's just a matter of what we don't talk about. It's about what we don't talk about. Politics. There's things that you're not allowed to talk about. So it's like the only things that we're allowed to talk about are things that are politically correct to be on the table. And what's politically correct to be on the table? Well, it's race, sex, LGBT rights and climate change. They're the only things on the table now. They're the only things anyone ever... Well, there's one thing we can all agree upon, no matter what political party we're in. And that's what? The sanctity of racism, sexism, LGBT rights and climate change being the only things that we talk about. And because it's all fluff, we're all experts in it because we've all experienced how it lived. It's like you fucking learn nothing. It's like that's dumb as fuck. And you find out that that's what they are, right? And a feeling of entitlement and a sense in themselves that they run the place when they don't even care to look at what the place is. And those who know, well, we don't talk about that because, you know, makes us look bad because we take responsibility. We take all the credit when something goes right and we take none of the responsibility when things go fucking wrong. Now, things go wrong a lot in life. I don't think there's a way of escaping the shit in the fan. It's just the way people are. Fucking deluded people cause problems. You never see statistics, do you? There's been a survey done or a study done by a university to account for how much productivity has been lost this year due to blind stupidities, errors and failures of people to simply make sure. cost of doing business, isn't it? Won't count that. They'll say how many days have been lost too. But they won't say how much money has been lost to blind stupidity and people not listening. That was a problem when I was going through business. Systematic stupidity. Well, the boss said, so we did it. And it'd be like, did not one of you think to check that he'd fucked up? Nope, we just did it as he said. So where the machine becomes too compliant as to where it's not questioning its orders anymore and making sure it's on the level. Do as you're told. Oh. If there is a spirit or heart of revolution in the northwest of England, right, villains could discover it. The door is open for villains, right, to decide to humiliate it and bring it down. And whatever means they chose to use would work because of who they're dealing with. Panic, shit scared, meh, meh. It's like Burnham, with his fucking upsetting a blanket group of people, I think he's probably unwittingly turned the criminal elements against him. And if he's turned the criminal elements of Greater Manchester against him, it's like... good luck with that. Like, low cunning, evil ingenuity is fucking incredible stuff. It's like, it only takes a flashpoint of any kind to all of a sudden have the public opinion swing like 100% against you. Like, you've left the door open for fucking lunatics to do something. And he can't see that. He can't. The likes of like Burnham, the councils, and like they pretend they don't exist. Those people. They pretend that there's not like fucking turf wars and machete attacks, and it's like, you know, that activity has been suspiciously quiet. There's been some arrests, but it's out there. It's like there's. It sort of moves with the tide of what's going on in the politics. It's like, this is a bit odd. But it's like, if you think... I'm saying it wouldn't take too much for that power in the moment to be actually turned on the police, to be turned on the council. Wouldn't take much. It wouldn't take much. It's like, right, there was an attack in Rochdale, Sharcliffe, Bentley Street, 4 or 5 months ago. The locals there got to witness someone getting chopped up, right? Got in the local news. It wasn't a national story. Now, what might that story have been if, like, fucking Andy Burnham had been, like, run off the road by idiots and fucking chopped up? It's like, I'm just saying, that kind of force exists. It's here. It's like, do you want to see more evidence of it? It's like, go and weigh as to what people are capable of in the north of England. I just can't escape from it. I voted once on some nonsense thing on the MEN website, and now I get every fucking article sent to me in my email, and I've come to it like, hang on a minute. And it's like that kind of activity, like serious fucking wounding, stabbings, gang stuff, like fucking gangs in vehicles. It's like they're only guns away from being ISIS. It's like I think he's risked awakening those forces against him. Because in that, that's a thing, that fucking dumb. You go on forever with this dumbness, right? In amongst that community of white van men who are going to get it, right, are their distribution networks. Gangsters, drugs. You're going to fuck with them and their people. You're going to bring heat down on the street with your cameras, clocking those guys like everyone else. And we've had recent times where criminal gangs in Rochdale have been extremely effective because they had a cop working for them who was giving them access to the police database. Now, if similar arrangements exist anywhere, your old organisation's just fucked. It's busted out. It's like, why can't they, when they start to do things like make it so the guy, hang on a minute, I have to pay 300 quid a week extra to do business. Well, it just blanketly fucks everyone like that. So do you not think it might be the final straw for one or two? Do you not think it could not get ugly? And one thing lead to another? It's like they've not even thought about it. They don't care. Oh, well, they'll deal with it. Will they? And it's like you've got, right, no forces exist right now to mitigate real world repercussions of hardship brought by that in the individual. No, nothing. You appeal to your local councillor and you get platitudes back as to, well, if you buy something brand new, you can get a discount. And it's like, excuse me? Brand new? So I can't even get credit, let alone commit to buying something like that. It's like, is that what you're telling me? Yes, it's for the environment and the kiddies and the sick kiddies. It's like, don't they realise just how much danger they put themselves in? It's reckless. It's a feckless act. And it's like someone pushing the luck to see what they can get away with, to actually shit test the people right to the edge. And is it a deliberate attempt to cause another crisis? Just flat out, and we're doing this. And it's like, what? It's like, have you done it yet? Well, no. But it can't be stopped. Why? We've already paid the people to put the infrastructure in. Oh, well, you can ask for your money back, can't you? Well, no. So we're doing this, and it's not down to us. Excuse me? Not a single word to address the hardships that people might suffer, and just ignoring it. And that's the thing, ignoring it. Completely just ignoring it. And in completely just ignoring it, you're playing the game of the silent treatment of avoidance, and the silent treatment of avoidance has got a counter move. And that is that people start to resent you. Think about it. It's like this chaotic clusterfuck that's coming, right? I've been sat thinking about it for weeks. Can't start mouthing off without breaking into the subject of it. And it be, has this so dominated my thinking now as to, and I'm like, well, if I think that, there are others, and there's others who are far more dangerous than I am, and far more well connected. I don't like it. I think it's really dangerous. I don't think we've been in as in Greater Manchester, and this is I'll be the only person who says this. I don't think we've ever been in as much danger of a terrorist incident as we are now, and it's not going to be a Muslim extremist. And that's been created with, that environment has been whipped up out of wordplay. Nothing's happened yet. And they can't defend it, and they can't make excuses for it other than my planet. It's big. More people should have picked up on this, what's going on, what they're trying to do in Greater Manchester. It's like no one gives a fuck. It's like no one listens to people from around here. There's no voices around here. No one ever breaks out of Rochdale. It's like it's got a fucking force field around it. You can broadcast out, but no one's broadcasting in. It's like, oh, it's just some place. It's like, well, whatever Rochdale, and whatever I've been warning to say, oh God, this organisation, its role it plays and its part in things, it's not what it says it is. And I've got hands across the sea, brothers doing exactly the same place, telling exactly the same tale in all 10 constituencies of Greater Manchester, all 10. It will take exactly the same story about the Labour Council. And it's like, just for a minute you twig us to say, what if they're all in bed with each other? What if they don't recognise, well, why would I know that person? That person's from Oldham. It's like, no, we're on the Labour Party. We all go to parties and conferences and we all know each other real well. We've got it sewn up. What do we want to do? We want to feel safer, and we want the people to feel safer too. Well, what would make you feel safe? For people not to look at me and me stretch marks and me great big fat ass. Okay, we'll do something about that. That's who they are.